I want to share some stories to try to illustrate some of the challenges that Carl and I have had in our relationship. Not to, bash someone, but to shed light on real issues and on how we've been trying to work together to figure out what those are, and how some issues that we originally thought was just some sort of like a relationship issue, we came to suspect was actually some sort of mental difference. I mean, maybe a disability, but maybe one that could be cured. I think if we understood why. So, one of my abilities is pattern recognition, and sometimes it takes a while, but I'm able to connect dots that a lot of other people can't connect. The thing with pattern recognition, though, is you've got to see the pattern. You've got to see it enough to, you've got to experience it enough to see it. So one of the memories that really hurt me was of a Christmas in which Carl and I, we bought a few things for each other together, because we always do everything together. And we didn't want to spend a lot of money, trying to manage our finances and stuff. And so we agreed that we would each get each other one surprise. One surprise for our stocking. Nothing big, just a surprise for our stocking. Anyways, I was really looking forward to that one surprise, because despite all the freaking shit that I have, I actually really don't care about stuff. I want to be thought about. I want to be remembered, because there was a Christmas in which my dad did not get the Christmas presents under the tree that morning. And my little, I don't know, second or third grade self cried my eyes out until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, feeling unloved and forgotten. My dad then brought down garbage bags, probably most kids ever gotten in a single Christmas, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. The damage had been done. Now I recognize that my dad probably also struggled with some of the same things I'm struggling with. And so I have empathy, but those kind of things leave wounds and scars that can't heal until you come back to them. I'm still working on that one. But Carl knew about that wound. Carl knew about that wound. He knew about how my dad liked to tease me about leaving, and how sometimes he would leave me behind as a joke and then come back later. He knew about all those wounds. And so I thought that since he knew that he would place extra importance on stepping up in those areas, like, please don't forget my birthday. Please don't forget these things. Please, just something. Please just, and for years, he'd get mad at me a little bit because I'd be like, you got me something right. You got me something. Like, I'm having anxiety about it. Because this wound is so deep. Like, did you remember to give me something? Have you got my Christmas present yet? I don't want to know what it is. Just have you got it yet? Just reassure me that it's there. Yeah, Dad, I love you, but that really fucked me up. But thank you at the same time. Thank you, because I'm sure that when I finish dissecting all this, that it's going to help me in some way. I know that the challenges we go through, we're meant to go through to help us, to help shape us and us learn, and stuff. And right now I'm working on that, and I think it's going to help me with Carl. So we were supposed to get each other a surprise for our stocking. Christmas Eve gets here, we're doing our thing. I'm excited about the next morning and Christmas and stuff. And then the next morning gets here, because we open our stockings in the morning. The next morning gets here, and we got to open our stocking. There's no surprise for me. Carl didn't get me. He didn't do anything. And not only did he not get me anything, I mean, he could have just wrote me a card. Fuck. He could have just wrote me a fucking note and put it in there, like, shit, man. Anything. He didn't do anything. And not only did he not do anything, he didn't warn me. He didn't warn me beforehand. He let me open that stocking all excited, thinking that there was something inside of it for me. And then there was nothing. And then I start freaking out because, this is that wounding again. And how could he not warn me? If, I know how he is. It's like, could you not warn me? Like, how could you not warn me? How could you not know that this would not just really plummet my heart and stuff? And not only that, okay, so this is what happened, and this is a typical pattern of behavior. I get upset about it and I'm hurt, and then Carl gets upset. And when Carl gets, and Carl is saying he's sorry, but what always happens, or what has been a pattern for most of the relationship, is that he spirals it within instead of being proactive, instead of being like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't warn you. I realized what went wrong, blah, 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 blah. Um, he spiraled in. He's like, I'm a loser. I can't do anything right, blah, 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 blah. And now we're stuck in this cycle where he hurts me. And when I let him know he's hurt me, he punishes himself. There, things are not being made right by me. I am now comforting him. I'm sure there's a name for that. And it's definitely a cycle that we're stuck in. So I've been working a long time to try and help him break out of that cycle. Now, to finish the Christmas story, we talked about it, and I was like, okay, you understand why this hurt me. I need you to make this right. I need you to make this right. Like, go get me something or whatever, go write me something, just make it right. And he assured me that he would. But then a few days pass, and each day I'm like, what's taking so long? Seriously, just go fucking write me a note, or go out to the damn store, and buy me a teddy bear. Like, come on, make this right. It's like 3 days later, when I'm like, Carl, do not let this wound fester. Take care of this right away. But he was having so much anxiety about it. He has a lot of anxiety about gifts, both giving and receiving. And I feel like I need to think some more on that. My little spidey senses is telling me that maybe I'm finally going to understand why he has trouble giving and receiving gifts. There's something, I think he has trouble. He does have trouble making decisions. Okay, I know this is on the autism spectrum, but I don't know exactly what this is called. But, I make all the decisions. I didn't think that's how our relationship was going to be, but I do. Every now and then I can, I'll try. We've actually made progress over the years. He makes more decisions now than he did in the beginning. But, I can't believe both of us masked so well for so long that it wasn't obvious. But at the same time, I can, because this world has made it hard for people to be recognized as being different and stuff like that. And you don't see what's going on in people's lives. So that's just one example of many. I've got many stories. I guess I should write, here's what I do. I'll just write them all out. I'll write them all out, run it through ChatGPT, and be like, hey, what do you think about these patterns of behavior right here? I don't need to pay for a doctor anymore. Like, fuck them. Like, this world is so stupid. It's so stupid they make it so hard for us to get the help that we need. Anyways, so once again, if you are neurodivergent or an ally and you want to join a community that advocates for equality and equity, diversity and inclusion and all that shit, I'm working on building one. I'm looking for core members. Think X-Men, building a community in a school, volunteer, so we can come together to help one another with our needs and help us better understand how to regulate our energy and how to then use it. We gotta learn how to stabilize it first so that we can function, in society without getting overwhelmed and having a freak out, like I did yesterday. But there's more than that. You're gifted. You have superpowers. You're magical. It's all science, but doesn't it sound fun to feel like it's magic? Everything is energy. Akashi onokonia, ekona. There's so much of it. If you can learn to regulate it, if you can learn to sense it, to manipulate it by moving it around and stuff, and then you can learn how to control it, learn how to charge your own battery or release when you need to. It's a game changer.